Hi, how's it going? Welcome to my second video book review. This one's going to be on Destiny of the Republic by Candice Millard. Again, this is going to be a really good book for you. I really highly recommend this one. What is it about though? It's basically the culmination of three different stories in one. First is it's about the assassination of President James Garfield. Second is it's about the germ theory in medicine and how it was starting to become popular over in Europe, but it was still kind of not well regarded, I guess you could put it that way, in the United States. They were still trying to get U.S. surgeons and whatnot to follow that germ theory and to buy into it, but at this point in time they didn't. And finally, it's about Thomas, is it Edison? No, it's Alexander Graham Bell and his X-ray machine, or his first steps into creating that. It takes those three stories and it winds them all up together and shows the interplay between germ theory, how President Garfield would have and should have been okay after having been shot. He should have survived it. And finally, how Bell and his experiment and his X-ray machine tried to find the bullet and tried to save him. What was my background going into this book? I didn't know very much about Garfield. Actually, I knew essentially nothing about Garfield other than that he was a president and he was assassinated. Typically, we know about the main presidents that were assassinated being Lincoln and Kennedy. But I didn't really know much about Garfield. I really didn't know much about Bell either, and I really didn't know much about the germ theory and how that all worked out. I did know that there was a famous British scientist trying to advance, I believe it's British, scientist trying to advance the theory and it didn't work. Maybe it was Austrian. I don't know. I can't remember. That's not really the main point. Anyway, I knew a little bit about that stuff, but I didn't know how all this stuff came together. This book did a phenomenal job of bringing it all together and really made it into an interesting story. So what did I get out of this book? Well, it was a great story and it really showed you a lot on life, right? Because Garfield being shot was dying at the time, and it shows you how he was able to face his death in a very stoic way. I'm a huge follower and proponent of the Stoic philosophy, and I think that Garfield did a great job emphasizing that, and he was probably a Stoic. So you learn a lot about life. That's what I really got out of it, and again, just a really great story too. Let me read to you a couple quotes here. A couple of my favorite quotes. All right, this one's on page 18. This is talking about the time that Garfield's son, died. At his home in Washington, he watched helplessly as his youngest child, Nettie, a beautiful little boy who had contracted whooping cough, soon after attending the Centennial Fair, died in a small bed. Searching for a way to teach his children this hard truth, to prepare them for what inevitably lay ahead, Garfield had often turned to what he knew best, books. After dinner one evening, he pulled a copy of Shakespeare's Othello off the shelf and began to read the tragedy aloud. Quote, "The children were not pleased with the way the story came out," he admitted in his diary, but he hoped that they would come to, quote, "appreciate stories that do not come out well, for they are very much like a good deal of life." Very stoic, very interesting that he would read Othello to his kids, and then that's the way that he approached it. Especially, considering that one just died. Where's another good one? Okay, so this is after Garfield gets shot. This is coming from his secretary, a man by the name of Joseph Stanley Brown. This is on page 172. So Garfield gets shot. This is Brown's reaction. Quote, "Even in moments of greatest misery," he would later write, quote, "homely tasks have to be performed, and perhaps they tide us over the worst," end quote. The reason why I picked that one, because it's just interesting to see how this guy, basically his entire life, his entire career is wrapped up in Garfield, and how he's handling the monumental loss that he's going through. The fact that the guy who got him where he is, and he was really close, Brown was really close to Garfield, was shot. And he says the best thing you can do is go home and perform homely tasks to try to focus on that. I thought that was important too. Now, the way that I do read these books is that when I read through them, I find important passages for whatever reason. I highlight them, and sometimes I'll write little notes in the margin, and I put the little sticky note on the side, so that way, after I'm done reading it, I can go back through, take notes on the stuff that I read. You can see I have 5 on this one, but really the whole story was very good. There's just scene after scene after scene of Garfield being stoic, trying to be cheery, thanking people for helping him and all that. It was just really a great story. What are some of the pros and cons to this book? Really, I don't think there are any cons. I think the writing style was very good. It was a page turner. I finished this book in like 2 or 3 days. Just a great overall book, very interesting story, and Millard did a really great job with it. She also wrote The River of Doubt, which is about Teddy Roosevelt and his, I think it's African safari, was it in South America? Not quite sure, but I also want to really read that one too, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. Who should read this? If you like history, it's a great book. If you like interesting stories, great book. If you want to learn more about Garfield, great book. If you're interested about life and learning a little bit more life and how to deal with trying situations, or you're going through grief or something, would also be interesting to read it for that. I think you'd get a lot out of it. And that's essentially everything I wanted to say about this book. Again, really good, highly recommended, probably my number 2 book of 2014. Number 1 being Eisenhower, War and Peace by John Edward Smith. Number 2 being this one. I really, really like this. Can't say enough good things about it, and I recommend it a lot. So with all that being said, please go down below, click the little thumbs up button. That's the like button. That'll let other people know that this video book review was helpful. Also leave a comment if you've read this or if you have other questions about the book. I'm more than happy to talk with you about it. I love talking about books, especially ones that I like, right? So go ahead, leave some comments. I'll be happy to talk with you. And finally, subscribe for more video book reviews, and I also have other videos on the channel too. One other thing is I do have a link to this down below. It's an Amazon link. You can go ahead and click that. It'll bring you to Amazon where you can find this and buy it. Now, in effort of full disclosure, that is an affiliate link. I do get a small percentage of your purchase on there, but it doesn't increase, it doesn't add to your cost or anything. It's just an affiliate link. I just get a little small, like pennies on the dollar, basically. If you're not interested in clicking through the affiliate link, that's fine. Go ahead and go to Amazon on your own and find it that way too, or buy it in the local bookstore. I really don't care. I really do highly recommend this book no matter what, and it makes no difference whether I get 5 cents or whatever it is for you buying it. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and again, Candice Millard, Destiny in the Republic, highly recommend it. Thanks. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.